For those of you who have been living under a rock, I'd like to play the most viral hit song of the entire summer, just a little bit from it. This, of course, would be Bold Lib.
Being child-free threatens the patriarchy. We don't need no man. We can do everything he can.
Busted!
I'm a bold lib. Taylor's on my side. I'm a bold lib. MAGA starts to cry. What?
I wish we could listen to all the rest of it, but I want to get to our guest. When we have guests come on the show, we usually have them send over a short bio. And so Angela sent us this bio, 42, child-free, viral, unboxable, no babysitter needed. Angela, thank you for coming on the show.
Hi, Michael. Thank you so much for having me.
So Angela, there's so much I want to get to, not just about the song, but really about your entire journey. I saw most recently that you were 42, child-free, in Atlantic City, and that the right obviously hates that. How did you do in Atlantic City? Did you win?
A little hit or miss. I like to play roulette. I have a strategy. It's a pretty bold strategy on going with green. So I'm all in on green and a little bit of some wins, some losses, but I'm not a huge gambler. So
you obviously did not need a babysitter when you were down there. Angela, tell me, well, before we get to your broader political journey, I guess we have to touch on the news. Donald Trump has accepted the putative endorsement of the Swifties for Trump. But you, of course, point out in the chorus to your song that you're a bold lib and Taylor's on your side, on the side of the libs. So how do you make sense of that? Is Trump, expressing fake news? Is the Swiftie camp divided? Is Taylor going to endorse Trump and betray you? Where does it stand?
I find it hard to believe that Taylor would endorse Trump because I feel like, we're under attack right now, which is part of all the content that I'm creating about being 42, child-free, no babysitter needed. We're getting a bad rep right now, Taylor included, for being, women of a certain age, without children, kind of, single, dating, whatever, being bad role models for women. And so a lot of the content that I'm creating right now is around that, embracing it and it being okay to make those choices and, kind of promoting that and embracing it. So, those two things don't go together to me.
If Taylor marries Travis Kelce and then has kids, will that change your stance and the stance of Bold Libs on Taylor?
We'll see, we'll see where Taylor goes. It's a journey. So I think, it's hard to say right now. We kind of have to see how she plays her cards and how things roll out.
Now, tell me about your political journey, because, I would never ask a lady her age, but you've said it repeatedly. You're 42, and you've really exploded onto the scene as maybe the political phenomenon of the year in 2024. So how did you get to this point? How did you become so lib? How did you become so bold? And why now?
I think it really is a journey. And as a content creator, I think you kind of put stuff out and see what sticks and kind of like find your own way. So I do think, the word of a journey totally makes sense. It kind of started, doing dancing videos that sort of went viral. And then, it went into walks and just kind of the reaction has been wild. So it kind of caught on. And I think it's been fun for me. I try to have fun with it. I think, I'm trying to bridge a gap in a way. I think that things can be wild. There's good points on both sides. Things can be, too far on both sides. So I think by having fun, we can have laughs together to kind of have conversations. Just, trying to have fun with it and seeing the response has been nuts. Obviously, I get a lot of hate, but it's really cool to kind of be a bold lib who people on the right actually like and follow and support.
But now this is confusing, Angela. This is very confusing because you say people on the right like and support you, and you're saying you're kind of bridging a gap. But I have been reliably informed by your account that everything about your character the right hates.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of hate, but the point is there's also a little bit of love there. People can not take it as seriously, but yes, primarily you can just see by the replies and the response that the right does really hate it. I mean, it's a lot of that, but it is nice to find those nuggets of people who appreciate it and not just me being, attacking the right. About, just, I hate the right's stupid. There's a lot of that content out there with liberals, I think. And so trying to have a little more fun with it.
Right now, go to goodranchers.com, use promo code Knowles. The other day for lunch, sweet little Elisa grilled up 2 nice Good Ranchers ribeyes. And we had hoagie rolls, a little homemade horseradish sauce, and a little bit of cheese. And I ate one of these steak sandwiches with the unbelievably delicious Good Ranchers meat, which is somehow even better today than it was when this company first started. And it was so good. I'm almost ashamed to say this, but I'm also somewhat proud. I ate a second hoagie for lunch. That's how good. Good Ranchers meat is the best meat you're going to get. It's time to say goodbye to that mystery meat with Good Ranchers sourcing all their meat exclusively from American farms. You're getting 100% American meat, no antibiotics, no added hormones, definitely no seed oils, just pure steakhouse quality cuts that'll make you wonder why you ever settled for less. Every cut is pre-trimmed, individually packed, vacuum sealed, meaning no more messy meal prep or wasted food. Right now, Good Ranchers is having a presidential promo for a limited time. Get a free add-on for a whole 4 years until the next election. When you subscribe to any of their boxes, you get to decide if you want extra plain chicken breast, Angus ground beef, Applewood smoked bacon, or wild-caught salmon in every order for 4 years. Use code Knowles, KNWLES. Claim this presidential promo worth over $1,200 and bring 100% American meat to your family until 2028. GoodRanchers.com, promo code Knowles. Some have suggested, Angela, that the character of the Bold Lib is just that, is something of an exaggeration, and that in fact your content is not merely earnest, but in fact not merely political even, but meta-political, that it's a commentary on the very nature of political media and discourse in 2024. Now, I, of course, take you entirely at your word and at face value, but how would you respond to those critics?
I mean, I don't know why they would say that.
Fair enough. You make a good point. So then let's bring it back to reality and the nuts and bolts of 2024. You're 42, child-free, viral, unboxable, don't need a babysitter, very bold. Where do you place the chances for Kamala and Trump, and what do you hope to see out of their respective potential administrations?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, to be honest. I mean, I think we stand more of a chance with Kamala now. I think there's some hope there. I would, of course, love to see the first female president, woman president. I think it's time. But I don't know. I'm kind of watching it unfold as everyone else is. So I really don't. I'm kind of like anything could happen. So nothing surprises me anymore.
And then finally, Angela, people have watched your content. A lot of men have watched your content. And I don't have any information on this, but I would just have to assume some man would look and say, wow, this Bold Lib is attractive. I want to take this Bold Lib on a date. Maybe I want to court this Bold Lib. Maybe I want to get married. And then maybe I want to form a family with this Bold Lib. And whether that includes biological children or adopted children, I want to have children with this Bold Lib. And so if such things were to come to pass, would that interest you? Would that shake your identity to the core? Would you cease to be yourself? What would that mean? Who would the Bold Lib be if such events were to occur?
I'm always going to be myself, but again, as we've talked about things being a journey, I don't know what tomorrow holds. So I can't say anything definitively, but I'm always going to stay true to myself and what I believe in and put that out there. And right now, I'm happy with where I am. These are the decisions that I've made. Of course, I don't know what's in store for me, and I'm open to that and seeing, where the ride takes me. But yeah, I'm always, right now I want everyone to know that their choices are okay. And I don't, I feel like we're being told as women who are single and child free and of a certain age that, that's our only purpose in life, and and we're selfish, and what's the point of living? And that's just terrible, a terrible message to put out there. Think of, women who desperately want to have children and can't, and to make them feel less than and to feel bad about themselves because they can't fulfill that is terrible.
That's a very good point, Andrew, because I have friends, I have a lot of friends, even who are not bold libs, who are actually demure conservatives, who will say, they'll be in their 30s or 40s, and they really want to get married and they really want to have kids. And a lot of them will say, look, I was put on this path, and I went to college, and I got my job, and I worked in the city, and it was hard to date, and the guys are jerks, and I was told not to get married right away. I was told not to have kids right away, and now I regret it. And this is part of why I try not to attack women who are, 42 and child free and all the rest of it. In part because of what you just said. There are so many women who really want to get married and have kids, and who feel that those possibilities have been foreclosed to them. But then doesn't that create a problem for your political project, which is, if you're saying no choices are bad and everyone should just, whatever choices they made, that's great. But then simultaneously, you're saying part of the reason we should state these things is because so many women regret the choices that they have made. So in a way, wouldn't it be more charitable to suggest that maybe certain choices are better than others and might be more conducive to their happiness?
I think it's very tricky. I think there's it's a complex issue, and everybody's situation is different. And that's why I say I think it's all okay.
Even for the ones who regret it, though?
That exists, but I don't think primarily that's what I'm hearing. I think we can talk about these things, and that's a component of some people's experience. So yeah, put it on the table. But at the end of the day, it's still, you can, that's the open conversation, and people can talk about their experience of regretting it. But then that shouldn't be forced upon someone else who, okay, I hear that, but I'm still happy with my decision. And it's a complicated decision, I think, for a lot of people. And I get that.
It is. I totally agree, because the complication of it, it's like the complication of education. It's that on the one hand, you want to respect people in making their decisions. But in order to make decisions, people have to be educated so that they're, in control of their appetites and things, and they make good decisions. But in order to be educated, you have to be forced into certain things. You have to be forced to take the test. You have to be forced to study the book. You have to be forced to do whatever. So there's this complex interplay of coercion that is required for free choice, and we want the free choice. But so it's very, you have to be very, very bold in how you approach that question.
And on the flip side too, right? There are a lot of people, sorry, but who regret having kids. So there's regret on both sides. Like there's regret, or like. Are
there real, no, do you know people who regret having kids?
There's a lot of people who make, they're never going to say, I don't love my, but there's a lot of comments along those lines that would lead one to believe that are like, more power to you.
I don't know. I think that's social media fake news. There are discrete moments when you're sitting around and your kid is like throwing spaghetti on the wall and smashing up your stuff and screaming in your face, where you think like, man, my life might be slightly easier right now if you weren't doing that. But generally speaking, that's sublime and everything. So as you're pointing out, your boldness transcends even ordinary political discourse, because it's a boldness of transgression, of transcendence, of saying that you are bridging a gap, and that who knows what the future holds. Is there, Angela, a possibility that the bold lib could one day evolve into a trad con?
I can't foresee that right now, because I'm so in my bold lib era, but with Taylor on my side. So, never say never, but right now I cannot foresee that.
All right. Well, gentlemen in the chat, speaking of comments that we all see, gentlemen, you have your challenge laid out before you. Angela, it truly a pleasure to, I think you are probably the most significant political figure I have spoken to this election cycle. There are others who would claim, greater political influence or something. But in terms of actual political significance, you, I think, are at the top of the list. Everyone ought to check out Bold Lib. Can we expect any more music videos?
Yeah. So there may or may not be a remix in the mix next up of Bold Lib. So that could be, but I want to make sure I have the chance to say thank you, Michael, as well, because somebody sent me the clip of you playing and reacting to Bold Lib. And it was so like precious and endearing, like watching your genuine reaction to the video and your comments and saying it was the best that you've had on Music Monday. And
yes, it was,
it was really nice.
It was entirely sincere. It is great. It's also probably the best political commentary I've seen in several years. It was excellent. And I love the fact that your next music video will be a remix, that it will be actually a recursive project on Bold Lib is the cherry on top of the sundae. Angela, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
And thank you to all of you. I'm Michael Knowles. This is The Michael Knowles Show. We will see you tomorrow.